Hello, I am Emma Olatunji, and this is another YouTube video we're going to be sharing with you basic things you need to know, you need to understand about tuberculosis, that is, causes and management of tuberculosis. What is tuberculosis? How does a person get tuberculosis? Signs and symptoms of tuberculosis. What are diagnostic investigation of tuberculosis? And quite a number of people do as is there a vaccine against tuberculosis, and how can we treat tuberculosis is what I'm going to be sharing with you in this video. So you just stick around to the end and subscribe, please, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And the YouTube channel is packaging one for packaging one and figure 4, figure 1 and figure 4. Please and please go there, click on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell right beside the subscribe button, and boom, you are good to go. So today I'm going to be sharing tuberculosis with you, that is, causes and management, how we can manage tuberculosis, how does a person get tuberculosis, how can we diagnose tuberculosis, signs and symptoms, and how we can actually treat it. So now, what is tuberculosis? We need to know that tuberculosis is an infectious disease caused by bacteria, whose scientific name is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So it is caused by bacteria, is an infectious disease rather caused by bacteria called Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So it was first isolated in 1822 by the German physician named Robert Koch, who received the Nobel Prize for this discovery. So TB, tuberculosis, commonly affects the two lungs, commonly affect the lungs, but also can involve almost any organ of the body. That is, it commonly affect the lungs, but can also involve or affect any organ of the body. So it can affect any organ of the body. Some years ago, it was referred to as a consumption, because without effective treatment, patients, these patients often would waste away. So some years ago, TB was referred to as consumption, because mostly all patients infected with TB die from the infection. But of course, today tuberculosis usually can be treated effectively, successfully, with antibiotics. So kudos to scientists for that. So tuberculosis can be treated successfully with antibiotics today. So bouncing away from that now, how does a person get tuberculosis is our next question. How does a person get tuberculosis? A person can be infected with tuberculosis bacteria when he or she inhales minute particles of infected sputum from the air. When you inhale minute particles of infected sputum in the air, so the bacteria get into the air. When someone infected with TB, with tuberculosis lung infection, or tuberculosis coughs, sneezes, spits, shouts, shouts, which is very common in some cultures. It's very common in some cultures, and people who are nearby can then possibly breathe the bacteria into their lungs. So it is very, let me quickly say this, it is very important for you to know that TB is not transmitted, or TB is not contacted by shaking the hands of infected person, by touching the cloth of infected person. So TB is spread or transmitted primarily from a person to person, by breathing the air, by breathing infected air in the closed contact. So it is majorly transmitted by breathing infected air, that is air that has been infected with mycobacterium tuberculosis in a closer contact. So TB is not contacted or transmitted by shaking the hands of infected person or by touching the cloth of an infected person. So having said that, now what are signs and symptoms of tuberculosis? What are signs and symptoms of tuberculosis? Signs and symptoms of tuberculosis may include um, generalized weakness and tiredness, weight loss, fever, night sweats, coughing, sneezing, chest pain, coughing with sputum, which may be stained with blood, and of course chest pain, and so on and so forth. So having said that, now what are the diagnostic investigation of tuberculosis? How can the doctor diagnose tuberculosis? And there are several different ways of diagnosing tuberculosis, including chest X-ray. That's number one, chest X-ray. Chest X-ray can be used to diagnose tuberculosis, and of course sputum sample for MCS that we call microscopic culture sensitivity can also be used to diagnose tuberculosis, and some types of skin test, um, including Tyne and Mantoux test, can also be used to screen for TB, can also be used to screen for tuberculosis. Some types of screen tests such as Tyne test, Mantoux test, they can be used to screen for tuberculosis. Also, having said that, now quite a number of people do ask that, is there a vaccine against tuberculosis? Of course, yes, there is a vaccine against tuberculosis, and it is called BCG, that is Bacilli calmette guarin. Bacilli calmette guarin. It is given almost throughout many parts of the world. It is given throughout many parts of the world, and is derived from atypical mycobacterium, and it offers protection from developing active tuberculosis, especially in infants and children. So BCG offers protection from developing active um, tuberculosis, and is derived from atypical mycobacterium. So it's very common in infant and uh, in infant and children. So bouncing away from that now, the big question, the last question is how can we treat tuberculosis? How how I mean how can we treat it? How do we treat it? I said kudos to scientists for discovering antibiotics in the first place. So with the help of antibiotics, tuberculosis can be treated. So tuberculosis is, is usually used, and is successfully used, and is effectively used in treating tuberculosis. And in some cases, surgical intervention may be indicated to help to cure tuberculosis when medication has failed. But in this age and day, uh, surgical intervention is not usually not usually effective again. So antibiotics is is successfully used to treat tuberculosis today. So tuberculosis can be treated with antibiotics. So I think with this we'll be able to know what tuberculosis is, how a person can be infected with tuberculosis, signs and symptoms of tuberculosis, and clinical investigation, diagnostic investigation, and of course a vaccine that can be used to and that can be given against the tuberculosis, and of course how we can treat tuberculosis. So on this note, I'll be wrapping up, and I say thank you and thank you for watching. Please and please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel Packaging 1-4. Please and please subscribe at Packaging 1-4. So till I come your witness, I am Emma Olatuji. Always remember, health is wealth. Stay healthy, and I see you next time. I say bye for this moment.